Hi, Tim Sales here. In this video, I'm going to be talking about if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. All right, so we're in the series of what causes a person or it prevents a person to join or even build, okay? And so this is one of them that I've identified where somebody says, oh, that sounds too good to be true. But I always ask the question, is that a good enough reason to stop looking? You see, so what normally happens, this has to do with, like I've been talking before in some of these other videos, of self-invalidation, or sometimes it's just that the person never thought about it, right? And a person who is suspicious of everything is dangerous, right? It takes a certain amount of curiosity in order to continue to look at something, even though it may sound too good to be true. It takes some curiosity. I'm not talking about being gullible, and I have been gullible. There's a difference between investigating, evaluating, and determining than just throwing out a phrase that, oh, it sounds too good to be true, and leaving it at that. Dismissal, right? So yeah, I'm going to walk you through kind of the way that when I hear that sort of behavior, the first thing that I say to somebody is, well, is that a good enough reason to stop looking? And if they say yes, that's all I need to hear, right? In other words, I'm not going to try to talk the person into it because most likely they're just suspicious of everything. So, and it's very funny that it came up at this particular time. So my son, 9 years old, he wants a PlayStation 5. And they were all sold out for Christmas. And so we found some that were online locally where people had bought them and they're reselling them. And so the average going price today is around $750, $800, something like that. And so he finds one for $15. Okay, so me as a dad, I could say, sounds too good to be true, right? But I don't want to teach my son to be suspicious of everything. I want him to be curious of everything. And so I said, he shows me this. You see, I've got to deal with him. And what he has to do is he has to do a push-up for every dollar that I spend. And so he would rather do 15 push-ups than 750. Smart kid, right? And so he's trying his best to find the best deal he can. But I don't want him to walk into something that isn't true. And so I said, well, that's interesting. Let's investigate further. And so we go into it, and it's brand new, PlayStation 5, never been opened. I'm doing a raffle, $15 a ticket, 100 spots, unlimited buy-in. I will be doing the drawing on Friday to announce the winner. And so my son's like, we could win. And I said, we could. All right, well, let's pretend that we're him for just a second. Let's look at his play. What's he got? And so I walked him all the way through it, and I said, okay, so we got a box, and every time somebody puts in, they can unlimited buy-in. So the person could probably buy, if the normal price is $400, like a new one that you could get at Walmart or something if they were available. So each person could probably throw in $400. And so $400 times 100 spots, this guy's going to make a lot of money. But what if his kid is the one who pulls the raffle ticket out and his name is in there, right? In other words, you see, it's a closed loop. And so he could very well just pull out somebody and say, oh, the winner was blah, blah, blah. And so you would have to do the 750 push-ups and the 15. Or however much we put into the raffle. And he goes, oh. And so then he was able to see how it could be a scam. All right. So what I'm trying to do here is that I'm showing you, be curious, really get into and set up the game the way that person is playing it and saying, what's the benefit? What's the downside? What's the risk? That kind of thing. Right? Okay. Let me show you another one. Dollar sign, dollar sign, dollar sign. $20,000 a month. Top salesperson needed. Wear sharp Italian tailor-made suits. Drive fancy European sports cars. If you have the courage to call, it can make you rich. We'll train. And then the phone number. All right, so I'm a guy who's never been in sales. I'm in the military at the time. And I had learned from a professor in a personal finance course. He just made the comment over his shoulder as he was walking. And he said, you know, for people who want to make a lot of money, you're going to have to either own it or sell it. And that rang like a church bell in my head. And I would always remember that. And so when I was in need of money because I was going to settlement on a house, I was looking for a sales position. And every single one of them said something or other like, you know, 3 years sales experience necessary, blah, blah, blah. All of them said that except this one. And it said, we'll train. And that was what I teed off on and said, I want that. And so, okay, sound like a scam, yeah? Kind of like, what? Huh? Right? And so is that a good enough reason to stop looking? It wasn't for me. I answered that ad. I met with him 2 times and I just evaluated. I looked at what would I be doing, okay? And so what would I be doing? Well, what I would be doing is that I would be generating leads, my own leads. I would contact the leads. I would set an appointment for them to see a presentation, then I would follow up. And some would become customers, and some would become reps, and some would say no. Okay? So that's what I would be doing. What was his play? In other words, the person who ran the ad, what was his play? Well, that was pretty easy for me to see. He had generated a lead. I was one of his leads. And so I would be doing the same thing that he's doing. There wasn't any scam in that. It's straight up. I'm going to be doing whatever I see this guy doing. I haven't seen anything illegal. There's a, you know, or even unethical. Here's a group of products. This is what we're selling. He would show me, he would detail exactly the ingredients compared to other ingredients. He broke it all down for me. And so I did it. And so this is the breakdown, which is basically I needed to study what was the doing. Doing meaning what would I be doing? What's the person who's running the ad doing? Same thing he wants me to do. Made sense. What did I need to do to earn $20,000 a month? I needed to get customers and train sales teams. That's what all businesses must do. Okay, so that's how I was able to see that what the guy was promoting, no, sorry, I got one more here. That's not a scam. It's a plan. And so he was showing me a plan. He wasn't showing me a scam. And so every single one of the things that he did, he promoted here, I got in the time frame he said, in 6 to 24 months. And so I got to $20,000 a month. Why? Well, because he broke it down for me to see that it was a matter of quantity going across the pipeline. And if I was willing to do that amount of activity, then I could get everything that was on there. And I did. And then by the next year, it was $65,000 a month. And then it got all the way up to $150,000 a month within my 5th year. And so I got every single one of those. Now, if you're the person that just said, yeah, but most people don't do that, watch out. Okay? That goes back to that suspicious thing. In other words, you got to go back and you say, well, what is the doing? It's not most people, right? It has to do with who's willing to do the quantity across the pipeline. And all I had to do was just break down and say, okay, so I sell this skincare kit, and out of that skincare kit, I'm going to make a profit. And with that profit, I can run ads in a newspaper. I can do postcards. I can do this. And so that I wasn't going to be spending money. I was just going to be reinvesting everything that I made. And that was the way that I was able to do the amount of quantity that I needed to do. And so yeah, every single one of those came true. So I appreciate you watching this video. If you appreciate that I'm doing these videos, make sure that you subscribe and comment down below. And thank you so much.